Hello and welcome to Future Innovators. Today we will be working on one of our STEM projects. Make sure to check us out by just doing a simple Google search for Pure Legacy Future Innovators, or you can always check Twitter for TN Future Innovators 19, and if you do the Google search it will also pull up our Facebook page as well. Don't really want to try and just pause this, so I'm just going to get it adjusted right here. The first project today we will be doing is the Solar Moon Rover. Now, once the video is uploaded, you'll have a link to be able to purchase this, as well as use this as a tutorial to guide you as for building this. Just putting in some headphones here, so that way I can listen to music while building it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get everything out. Now on these boards up here in the top right, you can see the how they just simply pop out. We're going to go ahead and get everything laid out for this. One key thing here is just keeping everything separated and together to where you'll know exactly where it is really easily, definitely for these videos. It's going to be two different solar panels over there, RC motor. These are what the solar panels look like. Just small ones with plastic covers. These screwdrivers are always good to keep after using them. Oh, hello. Surprise, surprise. That part just keeps wanting to roll away. These are also some black plastic pieces that are used for covering wire. I personally recommend using tape if you know you've wired it really good. Simple electric tape that you can just, buy, break off, and snap. Those help for covering up the tape. You can use it for the wire if you please. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get this out just to see the step-by-step. Most of it you can typically look at just the picture. And so let's see here. This starts at, looks like doing the battery connections to get everything set up properly. And just go ahead and have all this broke out. Go ahead and get all these pieces broke out here. You can keep them in while you're building it. I just like to have them out to move quickly. Go ahead and just get them all knocked out. They're not too hard to snap out, but it just makes it easier. All right. So it looks like we're going to be starting off with the wiring kit. Looks like the batteries. This is one of the things they miss the steps, and you kind of just got to look at it. It looks like all of the red will connect to the red on here. So, and up here it looks like it's showing that you just twist them all into one for the, it says step 1, solar panels and battery boxes, red wire. step 3 red wire and solar panel, and the black wire of the motor. So it looks like you take these 3 red, and this is for the Solar Moon Rover. You're going to take the 3 red, put them all together, and simply just twist the wires. If I can get it focused there. Just take those 3 wires, twist them all together. Make sure to have the wires all pushed evenly to where they're lined up for the plastic, and just simply twist them together. However, I do notice one key mistake I may have potentially made had not looking at it. Once you twist it, simply take a black cover and put it over them. Scoot it past, enough to still be able to access. Once that's done, you then loosen up just the twist just a little bit. Take the wire of the black motor, line it up the same way. And, oh, I see. So actually, I did make the mistake. Supposed to have, let's see here, showing it looks like separate. Solar panels in the battery box has 2. So it has 2 of them. So just gonna pull off the battery box. Slide the back cover over just the solar panel red, and then twist in the other 2 for the motor red wire and the red wire of the battery pack. So you're gonna have 2, the solar panels, red wire twisted with the black one on. And then you're going to take the red battery pack wire and the black wire of the motor. So it looks like you just twist them in like so. Make sure to line up the wires to where they are evenly set. And so you're going to have black wire of the motor, red wire of the battery pack, the other 2 red wires of the solar panel. You're going to twist those together. And then you're going to lay them. Make sure the wires go straight and push it over. In this situation, I'm not going to put tape on there just to double check this. And then if need be, I can easily go back and work on it. And then these are, I'm going to read into them a little bit. So after this, it's saying connect the battery box and the 3 black wires to the solar panels and the red wire of the motor, which is what I've already done. So let's see here. So the red wire of the motor will go into the black wires of the other 3. So the same way here, but I'm going to line them up how I would set it. Twist these 2 together. And it looks like the red wire goes in with one of the solar panels the same direction. The black wire. So the black wire of one of the solar panels, twist it with the black wire of the battery box. Make sure to put the plastic sleeve over it. So twist it just enough to be able to slide the heat protective sleeve over. And then take the black wire of the other one and the red wire of the battery pack and twist them together. And then join them with the other two, twist them together. And then when you pull them apart, bend the wires around like how you would almost tie a shoestring, just to make sure that they all stay together. Twist it as you need to have them all flush. Any excess, just manually push over and slide that heat protective sleeve right over. It almost looks like, I guess you could say a butterfly. I don't know. There's this, the paper on the here has it laid out differently. I laid it out accordingly to how it would look on the actual Solar Moon Rover. So the next move is that it says take the that piece that kept rolling earlier, the small white, looks like a cut-off screw, and set it over the top of this. Be gentle with these. It shows it pushing into the table. But one thing I've always noticed with these motors, once this is on here, it's extremely hard to get off. It says note the worm gear is pressed into the third position of the motor shaft. So almost a third in. So enough you can do with pressure of your thumb, I would say, but make sure it's still got like a decent little space between the motor and the spin. It says then you will take this piece and align it through. After that, you'll take the small pieces with the dot, so the small pieces with the dot, and place them into the four corners. Notice I'm holding the bottom of this to keep that in there, plus to apply pressure for this. They seem kind of loose, so it'll be easy not to snap it as almost done. Sometimes glue comes in these. You can also buy really cheap wood glue, like, of course, Walmart. And so after that, I'm just going to set this here to where it balances on there. And once that's through, it looks like we're taking these poles will be the next step. On this, you'll be taking this off, and we will be screwing in the bottom of these. This is always the fun part of opening these tiny little screw packs. I always personally recommend taking the plastic bag, laying it, and just doing this so that way they don't really roll. And try to make sure to almost hold it with your palm. It's just an easy way to keep those aligned in there. It's this simple. Just kind of place it into the hole with your fingers. Push it up to where it kind of falls in there. These screwdrivers aren't magnetic. So it does make it to where it's a little bit more challenging, but if you can line it there, it becomes easy. Younger children may need help with this for holding screws, but once they can get practice of just getting it there and be able to hold the screwdriver properly, it becomes fairly easy, and it builds the proper skill sets of the learning process for them just continuously trying. Of course, a child younger than, 5 or so may have a more difficult challenge in general. And if you are kids currently watch this, just keep going, keep learning, keep growing your ability to take these projects and build them. You'll definitely have a cool show and tell collection after a time of building these. And I definitely hope you're enjoying the videos. I definitely wish I had these when I was younger. So it looks like towards the bottom where this will come out of, we'll be taking one of these, placing it through here. And while I'll lead the directions, I'm just going to leave it sitting like that. If I look at the picture, just because the words don't always say exactly what, with my board laid out the same way, you should take the part of the orange piece, make sure this is laying and face it towards the right. Place it down inside there and just gently push through. Line it up and just continue to gently push through. Kind of see if it lines up evenly. And there we go. Take one of the yellow stoppers, or orange stoppers, not for sure what they're called, and just gently push it over and line it up to the edge of the board. Then it looks like on the back you just simply take the other one, line it through, and take the other ones and do the same on the ends. Line it up accordingly. I apologize if the focus wasn't there. And then I'm just going to pull these out a little bit, just make sure they're even. From there, it seems pretty key to go mention something about fastening screws. I'm guessing that's that bottom part. And just looking over this, check gear, does it fit? So does the gear fit? Does the gear fit? I mean, the gear fits. It's interesting to see how it ends up working out. So now we're going to attach the wheels onto it. Be easy on these, don't push it too far or too hard. I'm wondering if the one bar is longer than the other bar. Nope. So kind of feel like there should be stoppers on the inside of here, just because it pads it on the outside, but it really doesn't make sense when you go into consideration of this just simply slides. I'm just trying to make sure these stay to the board. Definitely feel like they should include more see, it just doesn't seem to stay lined up too easy. It's about the best I'm gonna get for the wheels being aligned until they just keep falling off, because they don't want to squeeze on too easy and I don't want to break them. I'm basically trying to do this. All right, so there we go. Little out of aligned. But it's not meant to be perfect, just because they're very simple wheels. All right, so I'm gonna keep this put down here. Refer to the figure. Looks like we're gonna take these two, motor this way, and first install two boards on board respectively. See, it doesn't really show much, so I'm gonna go with this is going right here. The other one's gonna go right here. But it shows the other piece. That means that these are gonna slide in like this. So we're gonna take these pieces here, slide it, and see, here's the part where it doesn't make it fun. So you gotta kind of figure out which way. That's why sometimes looking at the picture helps, but then like that picture, you can't really see which way those are angled on there too well. And so we're going to take the bottom and screw in the bottom of these in. So it's a pretty simple project. One thing I've noticed on these is honestly, It's easier for someone to learn watching it than reading, or just if you can look at pictures. For younger students that are younger than 12, reading this will definitely kind of give you a more grasp of name of parts. That's one thing that I need to do for like what that name is or what they call that, or the technical name for the plastic stopper. That is something that I do plan to include later on, is the technical names in a list where it has a picture and diagram. However, right now it's mostly just focusing on getting these built to be able to watch step by step. If you notice, I've also took off my rings. The reason being is they tend to get in the way on stuff like in that position. So just as something to think of. Well, either a piece is missing or I've misplaced it, because we need another one of these. These are the same. This is this. All of these have been took out. So, potentially missing a part, because I don't see anything that's fell off. And it's very likely in this situation that I am missing a part that it just was not included, because everything is popped out. So I have popped it out, just lost it somewhere. Next we will be doing a homemade slide projector also. So let's now find this missing piece. Potentially lost it when the whiteboard fell, but I do not see anything. Nothing's fell over here in the holder. So let's take a look around and see if anything's moved into the back of this. Let's put this up so it doesn't fall as I look under here. I don't see anything that's fell. Anything's fell into this box either. So something has happened to this piece. I'm gonna take a pause here to find this and then merge these videos. Although this video will make this pause seem even shorter by combining it, here's where the part ended up being. In the tip of the plastic bag laying over here was actually more farther down into the bag and laying under the glue gun to where I could not see it. Essentially all over here with that battery box moved over. I've also learned to keep multiple batteries handy at the crafting station. Essentially, let's just give you all a little bit of a idea of what we've got in store at this point, just because of the pause. So, welcome to the working station. Next up is the homemade slide. Then we have an elevator lift kit, oil pumping unit, model of the Earth, Moon, and Sun, balance car robot, and then some homemade, what is it? Oh, it's binoculars, not the Bluetooth speaker, as you can see in some of our videos on Facebook, but we do have another of those to build, as well as more kits that you can find that we've already published, and more kits than what's laid out in here. So, potential of 20 more upcoming videos after these. So, on this one, I noticed that there's an internal piece I just need to pop out. So I'm gonna take the screwdriver, make it really easy. If you have like a small pencil or pocket knife, you can always do that and use it. And then we're gonna take this and screw in the top of these. These boards seem very flimsy to where they kind of rotate, so be easy with applying pressure onto the screw and bottom. And sometimes if you lay the screw on there, you can get practice into just simply guiding it, just laying it to where the tip of the screw is right at the hole, lining up the screwdriver, and these don't take much pressure, but I do recommend holding the edge here. See how our screw is crooked? I'm gonna just tilt the screwdriver while screwing it in. I'm interested to see what holds the motor in place, as well as attaching the battery. All right, we have those done. So now it looks like we are going to take our solar panels, go ahead and peel the plastic off. You don't have to, but I'm going to do it just for now since I can easily hold these. Sometimes the plastic does stay really well to solar panel. These solar panels are also extremely awesome for, in general, of having as extra materials. Do personally recommend. I will hopefully remember to attach some links to them in the YouTube video, as well as, of course, the link for this project. I'm going to take these that are here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick them. It shows on here they're sticking it to the back of the solar panel first. I am curious as to how that would be applied. So I'm gonna try one and see which one is the best. So the first one I'm gonna place here, which is my initial thought of lining this up, because I want to take a look, and it seems like the inner part of these is aligned to where it lines up right over the arm, right here, and sticks out more. So I'm going to adjust this to be lined up accordingly. Seems to be like excess is sticking off. I might just rip that off for measures of having extra material. It does show the wire going into the center, so just adjust how you need this to be positioned before sticking it on here. So the wiring comes this way, and if you can notice on the solar panel, there's a line right, let's see, right there. If you notice, there's more space on one side here than over here. In the photo, you see a line. That line's not on the solar panel, but that line is potentially added there to show, run the wires down the middle of the strip. As this one shows, it's not really visible in the picture on the paper, but it gives a good idea of which way the wires should run. That pointing towards the center line straight down. And I'm just going to squeeze the bottom gently. Give it a tilt, see if it needs any pressure otherwhere. On this one, I'm going to do the solar panel with the sticky, just to see the difference of recommendations for this video. I do notice that these, I would just call them a double-sided sticky. Easy reference, probably a more technical term for it, but we'll get there eventually with building the curriculum and terminology, and some quizzes that we'll also post where you can win some of these fun kits as a prize for the quizzes. So more to definitely come. I always just stick that to my finger, find the line, go ahead and switch these over to where it runs here. I know that I'm going to take this here, that seems pretty simple. My question now becomes, is aligning it to the board with this versus lining the solar panel to the board, and which one I seem to like better. Basically the same, but if I notice this is already click, 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 very loose. So personally, I would have to say putting that sticky on the solar panel, on the board before the solar panel, definitely more of a recommendation, because as you can see, this is still not attaching very well. This one is doing the same, but it's kind of more stuck on there than the other one. You can always potentially take some electrical tape If you wish, just as extra measures, simply just tear it, line it down the side, make sure that the tape doesn't go over the actual solar panel. It's as easy as just a personal recommendation. It's an easy way to make sure this the toy lasts. I would say that with these type, you can take them apart and use them to build others, or just if you want to combine some of these, you know, get creative with it. I am definitely looking forward to a submission. Anyone who would like to take 2 of these, build the video, submit it to us, take them apart and combine 2 in an innovative way, I will send you a free prize. How about that? Go ahead and give some gifts out there for innovation. That's the reason we are called Future Innovators. Have fun with it. Be creative. That's the point of all these. As you can see, again, with the wiring, without doing the duct tape, these really just don't hold it together too well. They're already slipping apart. Granted, I am doing a lot of different movement with them. So I'm going to go ahead and tape these just to keep them in the build. That's one thing I was mentioning earlier of how these wires, let's see if we can get a better visual there. Those black heating wires just don't seem to keep them. As you can see, they're just very flimsy. They don't really grab the wires and keep them tight together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these, wire them up myself. So I'm gonna twist them long ways, like so. And I'm gonna grab it, take the long, grab it with the edge, and you can see they're already not wanting to stay together. So let's try something a little bit different. Good way to do this, take the longer part, grab it to the base of the shorter, twist around. Video shows the other way, but as you can see, those heat shields just do not hold it too easy. I'm just gonna wrap the tape around. And then as an extra, just so this ain't hanging down, pulling stuff, I'm gonna try and slide that up over the tape. And this is what I was trying to represent in the earlier part of mentioning these. It's just always when you're good about, when you're starting to learn the wiring, just as you could see earlier, I had the diagram doesn't really fully give the explanation of how to wire them. You just kind of visually have to look at it and learn it. Because in most of the projects I've done so far, I haven't had to wire any black wires into the red wires. Most of the time it's simply red to red, black to black. Like if I were to take this and use just the battery to power the motor, it would be red to red, black to black. Now in the event you're using an on and off switch battery pack and the motor, you take the red of the battery pack and the red of this, but instead of putting them together on the on and off switch, there'll be 2 extensions that essentially go through to where you can put the wires through each little extension, essentially a prong. If I had a visual reference with something, here we go, let's just use the Christmas lights. So it's a smaller version of this, but there's on and off switch. One wire goes through one wire goes the other. Duct tape that around there, and then your on and off switch works for the reds being connected in black to black. That's most of the extra steps I've done. This is definitely a first of putting black into some of the red and red into some of the black with the power motor. I would assume it's just for different ways of circulating with the solar, powering it, as well as that being able to store the solar into the battery packs. There is some videos on both Facebook and Google and pictures of where I'd done something similar with basically using car batteries to store energy from a very large solar panel that was in Cookville for a greenhouse, to where the solar panel sent energy into a converter that went from there to a monitoring station, and then went to 3 different batteries to where the batteries were all different wired up. It's hard to explain without a visual. And the converter had a way to plug in like a handsaw or a drill battery charging station. And so it was really cool being able to adjust that. Now granted, I am hoping to find the old video of where I was taking those batteries out of about half of the storage container, basically your plastic storage tub, of where the batteries were submerged up to half of them in water. And then the battery still worked. The only thing that needed to be changed was the converter, just where it had been rained on. It's very interesting. Was also kind of worried that, you know, potentially take off the wrong wire and all the stored energy, considering that the solar panel was still sending energy into the batteries that were submerged in water. Not something I personally recommend for anyone to do. Granted, nothing did happen, but I also looked at was looking up at the time which lines to take off, and at one point there was nothing there, since this was a homemade system someone had designed themselves, and it wasn't very easy to find something in less than 10 minutes to try and go ahead and get that done, since we were on class time. It was just left there from the previous semester. The person who had done it knew what they were doing. There was just no instructions left. So I was able to leave the professor with instructions in case they were ever to need to move it and change it. And it was really awesome to be able to say and see happen, because that's something simple that can be done at home to build your own greenhouse. It does show all of this twisted together, neatly tied up to the panel. It looks like when they take this, they put the battery in here. The solar panel is back here. Granted, all of these are twisted together. And so it shows the wires very neatly orchestrated. So as a consideration, let's see how we can even get that from here. I'm just going to pull that down and layer it. And let's just see if we can get the battery pack in position. Shows it faced like this, and the battery pack on this side of where the wires come out. These are extremely difficult for this, just because there's very little room inside the battery pack to move your fingers, and you have to get this lined up and the screw dropped in. So the one and easiest trick I have noticed, if you look at the battery pack from the top part, and here's the difficulty of seeing something so small. You can kind of see where the screws are aligned. Looks like 2 is coming in from the bottom, or actually 3 and 2 from the top. Says install the battery box on the board and then use cable ties to arrange the wires and trim off the excess cable ties with scissors. But it doesn't even explain the screws in which hole. You have to literally look at the picture to see where it goes. So it looks like one is 2 spots down, and then one is at the very back end of the spot. So I'm going to take this and line it up to where. Also, as a quick shout out, since I did not do it at the beginning, Jerry, I apologize. Please make sure to check out Real Life Unboxing for endless videos of home projects, clothing lines, different subscriptions, one such as what is originally over a $160 cologne subscription is extremely cheap. One bottle, I believe, and Jerry, please, if you see this video, make a comment, share the link. One bottle that he has on these videos would easily sell for 90 plus, and I know that you're getting in at half that price with the link through his subscriptions. The same through the clothing line. Jerry also has been sent phones, laptops, air fryers, little tiny robots that collect boxes, and much more to do product reviews, as well as massage handguns to do also check out his new channel for 3D printing. I cannot wait to unbox one of his 3D prints, and hopefully it'll be a symbol that him and I have either designed or found for a tutorial and start 3D printing. If you happen to see this and you are capable of such abilities to design 3D models, please message me. I may have an internship for you, because we are looking at 3D modeling for these type of kits to either add accessories onto them or have our own line to build. So definitely check out Real Life Unboxing. I will put the link in the description below. But back to our Solar Moon Rover. From the way it looks on the picture, we just simply line this box to where it touches the edges we've got the tricky part is lining it to where the holes to screw this in is at. My personal recommendation, hold it underneath, 2 fingers here. This is where the wheels honestly get in the way, and just move it around till you find a decent lining point. Let's see if you can place the screw inside like so, and then just feel around. Or you can take it this way, hold the screw and watch the screw to line it up. Multiple ways to do it. It's just really just getting it to where it works, because once that's there, this is a very easy, simple second. Now granted, sometimes these things can be extremely annoying to where you just have to learn different ways to get them. I definitely want to see if I can find a link to a magnetic screwdriver that is this size. I'm sure there's some out there. I just got to be able to do that. If you're watching this video, please do leave a comment if you do not see a link to a magnetic screwdriver of such size or of such proportion for the magnetic screwdriver. Let's get fancy and use fancy words. I don't really know that it's a fancy word, but this is just fun. All right, so we've got that build. Pretty awesome so far, if I do say so myself. Definitely something you could potentially build at home on a larger scale with more of these, and just simply just buying what's on Amazon. And I'll try to, actually, let's just make a sticky note of all the things to add to this video. How about that? So, first off, at real life unboxing, link to, which one do we need first? Okay, first product. I'm trying to write while looking to the camera, I'm sorry. Link to product. Second, link to, and this is how you've searched to find solar panels, this, battery packs. Just literally type in DIY stem kit or stem kit materials. Third would be link to a small magnetic screwdriver, which I will need to purchase for upcoming STEM events. And let's see here. Let's just go ahead and throw in a link to Facebook to where you can find our other videos. Follow us. We are doing fundraising to be able to purchase more kits. If you were to Google search Pure Legacy Future Innovators, you'll pull up a lot of our TV interviews, news articles, and recent accomplishments awards. It is an honor to say and see how far Future Innovators has came. Originally, we started in 2020. There's a long story behind it. There's a very deep story to my connection and why I am so excited with this. Just to be able to build these and share this. This is something that I wish I would have had as a kid to do, because I can say this to any child watching or building these. Whether you're 16 or whether you're 9, building these now will only give you the abilities and the skill sets and the exploration of your mind, your imagination, your creativity, your innovation, your entrepreneurship, to be able to do things at a much larger scale. I mean, this is something small, but the principles of the wiring and the motors apply to a larger scale. I would say is potentially as far as a larger one that would be on the moon. That's very high set, but your understanding now of this, of wiring, will take you to leaps and bounds that you can't imagine. As a child, I always imagined building and creating and innovating things, but however, I did not have, one, just the access to these materials. Two, I didn't have, growing up, until a certain point, the real ability and access to videos and materials to find. Someone's likely to see this in, Texas, Canada, Kentucky, across the country even, and I'm doing it from Tennessee, posting it on May 11th, 2022. So anybody can find this. The luxury to education for these type of videos is far outside of what it was 5 years ago. The access to technology and education. And the one thing I can say is that yes, schoolwork is important. What it teaches is important, but what is most important is self-education. Self-education will take you farther than anything may. My grammar is not to the ability that I wish it was, both writing and speaking, just due to that was not my focus or my care. Also to things that I probably shouldn't mention on here, just with the education system, different things of that nature. The education system is there, but your destiny, your life, your imagination, your creativity, the future of what you can imagine and how it will grow and change and evolve, both technology, economy, and everything, is not going to be at a pace of the school system. There will be times to where the work seems tedious and boring and too simple. Well, in that situation, let's say, for example, history. Find history books and read further ahead. Read into different areas that may not be shown in the class. Look at books for reading that are outside of the books at school. Look into science projects and videos to, as a young lady, she had actually coded 6 games. I believe she was 11 or so. She was wanting to learn chemistry, but her grade level didn't have that yet. She went and had her parents purchase books online for chemistry and small projects she could do with instructions and videos to start practicing. Kid-friendly, of course, but that's just the way of self-education taking you to new heights, to where what could be boring right now in biology, to a level to where it makes the biology easy to pass, and you could do your own self-education ahead of time. And definitely for any older siblings, always look at doing this with your younger siblings, because let's say you are 8, 10, 12, 14, however, whether your sibling is a year younger, 2 years, whatever it may be, building this with them is only going to give you a better grasp of explaining it and understanding and describing, and the hands-on. It's a very wonderful thing to look back on the things me and my younger brother built, the journeys we had of just using our imagination through acres of a mountain and wood and creekside, to where we had bridges and forts. I mean, they weren't much, but to us, those memories meant a lot. We were excited to get home and go explore through the creekside of near our house and build new forts and check bridges that may have potentially washed away. So if you are older with a younger sibling, do look at building these with your younger sibling. If you're having trouble to where maybe getting these yourself, let me know. I would love to have different individuals submit videos of building these, and even look at sending you products to do. That's the idea of Future Innovators, is just to get this activity into more hands of kids. So if you are a older sibling and building these with your youngers, please leave a comment, look for our email to be able to reach out. Send a video of you building one of these. I'd love to send you and your sibling kits to build and record, to where you all get the enjoyment and the skill sets of building them, and Future Innovators can evolve to showing other kids that are your age that they can do it, and that would be awesome. I definitely would need to potentially speak with your parents, of course, to get permission to post the videos if it does have your names, if you end up talking, or if you do end up recording it to where you can see your faces while building. Just that would be something I would definitely need to speak with your parents to get permission for. But I would love to be able to speak with them if you're wanting to build these with a sibling, and send you all some kits. I have far too many to build, honestly. So we've got that built. Now it looks like we are building the final extension of the stand. We're coming into the home stretch here. Definitely interested to see how this ends up working. Now, in some other videos, there is wireless receivers. I will definitely see if I can find one and potentially try and add it into this video, to where I can use a remote control to move it forward and backwards. There's videos that's on Facebook where a kindergartner had built this BattleBot with me, and we can actually make it spin donuts. And so there is some of these kits that do have controllers, instead of this one just being like on the moon and it moves. We can actually control it. I'm also hoping to eventually take these, find those, and those remotes that would really just like wood, to build, and building it and attaching it to these to see how it works. Granted, it has a much stronger and sturdy wheel station, because it did move really fast. I will see if I can post a video at the end of showing how this thing was doing donuts with precision. So we're just going to go take these, snap it. It doesn't look like it matters which side goes up. It does show how this is sitting like this here. So I'm just going to keep it accordingly to the picture for getting this in. And on this one, just since they're so close together, I'm gonna go ahead and just recommend taking one, putting it in, and going ahead and screwing it in. By the way, just in case, you know, there's some younger viewers, this is a Phillips screwdriver. Had to think for a second. Sometimes names and descriptions of parts slip from me. And then so the next one, just going to do the same. And one thing also is don't try and get them too tight, because it may bend it at an angle. These pieces of wood are not the sturdiest. I'm hoping to be able to find an ability to start scanning them and copying them in and 3D printing these kits to where eventually, once I have the understanding of how to use controllers from other wooden projects, I can just simply reuse those and attach the receivers onto these and have a sturdier kit to withstand. Would love to take that BattleBot and be able to actually make it to where it has a better range of motion with the arm, and I'm sure my little friend and that built it with me would definitely love that as well. Maybe we could even take two of those, build them, and just enjoy just racing. You know, they are BattleBots, so I can imagine, you know, you could do different things with them. So from here, it looks like we're going to take the rest of these and it looks like these are going to both go the same way. Now it's showing on here, as you can see, it looks like something with eyes, almost like a view. I honestly either keep misplacing parts or losing them somehow, because okay, that's what it is. See how easy? I had it in my hand, but I was seeing this side. It's on that side. Very simple. Plus, I'm focusing on getting this done to get more. So the top piece is going to stand, and it's going to go over the wiring here. So I'm going to take these. I'm just trying to see the angle here. Looks like you're going to take this, take that. And see, this is the issue. It shows this here, the little like door at the bottom. It doesn't show exactly where it goes here. And now if you look slightly into the picture here, you can very lowly see the curve, but it doesn't even say which way to set it. It just shows different small directions. It's also why we started these videos. So essentially, I'm going to, looks like the larger edge, the curvature is to the top. Here. So we're going to make sure the curve is there and see the angle. Go ahead and screw that in right there. Same with the other one. See? Now granted, you can see that where that number 8 is, when you see the curve, looks like this here. This is going here. Huh. So, I just noticed it's actually this way, but shows the higher one. And this is the weird way it's angled. It shows it like this. So, and mistakes are easy, as you can see. Doesn't show it in the best way. And it shows it almost flush. So this is what I was seeing here. See how the hole, it just looks a little bit different on there. And I really hope I did not drop that screw off the table, but I feel like I did. It's going to be very difficult to find. Another reason I want a magnetic screwdriver, or I just need to start keeping a decent sized magnet, because finding screws in small metal poles like the what would be considered the axle, it's definitely hard to find in my carpet. So putting the other side on here. All right, I have one screw left. Excuse me, sorry. Let's see if I can find the other screw. It definitely went off the table. Well, luckily it's really close to the wall. So now it looks like I'm gonna end up adding the top piece. This is just the problem, I can't fully tell. So I'm gonna go with lining it up with everything lined up. But so lining this up in here probably would have been best had I not screwed in the other one. I was just trying to see how. So what I've done here is just put on the top to where the curve goes there. This shows the windows, more camera angles. Go in, and it's just all basically screwed there. That's it. So those two screws are going to go into the bottom on this. I've made this flimsy, so I do recommend popping those in, but if you're following step by step, I apologize. Sometimes I will practice building one of the kits and use it as a reference while building another one. This situation, there was just one of these in a 5-link kit, as you'll see in the link. So I'm just trying to get these to go in without breaking the upper structure. Definitely one of those to where, as I done just a minute ago, do not recommend pushing from the top up here, but do hold it accordingly for putting in the screws. Another one to where the bar kind of gets in the way. That's the reason it's a good practice for being able to just move the screws around. Now granted, this will need batteries to move. There's also a decent chance that since it is like after 10 at night, This light on the table may not be enough to move it. I'll try a flashlight. Essentially, they don't look like they're going to move, but what happens is they end up taking time for everything to get together. My question still remains of how I can know that this motor will stay to where it does continuously engage, because there's nothing there tying it or holding it. Potentially the wiring being fastened where it keeps it tight. Not exactly for sure, which personally I don't see any need of tying the wiring down other than to cover it. So it looks like if you just line it up right, it touches just enough. So let's take some batteries and see how this goes. I don't know if these are dead, so we'll find out. One thing I've always noticed, lift this up, take that in, because you want to make sure how this goes. Just for seeing and testing. Then push it back down. Line up the wires of that spring. As you can see, it's already trying to take and move this. It's just having this engaged. See, it's just how this thing engages that. That's the reason I was saying I'm curious for how. This is definitely one where you wish you could make the controller work with it, just because then it's more fun to engage. And so we'll revisit this for seeing how, and it doesn't really have the ability to fight the uphill too well. That motor just definitely needs to be able to stay more in place. You can see it does have the power, it's just not engaging it enough. See, there we go, I didn't touch that one. Just basically just held it. And all I'm doing is essentially just, oh, I didn't even have to touch it there. It works pretty well. The only thing with this is this is now your on and off switch. And then just simply take a battery out. I've noticed that these, without that off and on switch, will pull a battery down. So just always take this out. And we hope you enjoy.